that the Eurozone nations should enact structural reforms to increase risk sharing, such as deposit insurance and a common fiscal policy among them. And a quick second one is, do you see any risk, systemic risk in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
You know, in Europe, a number of European countries over the last few years have enacted important structural reforms. I mentioned Spain a few years back, the Jobs Act in Italy. President Macron's plans for France are quite ambitious. But it would be fair to say that a much broader push incorporating even more nations would benefit the Eurozone countries and the EU generally. Now, that's not an architectural issue. That's something every country has to do on its own. As far as the architectural issues are concerned, we certainly promote a completion of the banking union. The structures that have been created, the single supervisory mechanism, the single resolution mechanism, are great steps forward, but more can be done, for example, in the area of deposit insurance. We also, would like to see more in the way of a central fiscal capacity. So part of the, the project of fixing the roof is certainly to enhance and improve the architecture of the Eurozone. You know, on Bitcoin, we don't like to comment on specific cryptocurrencies. From the sort of blockchain technology in general, we see possible advantages in terms of the efficiency of payment systems and inclusion. It's an interesting development. We also see that cryptocurrencies could offer risks, and it's going to be important for regulators to be watching very carefully to make sure that the risks don't materialize.
Okay, thank you very much, Maury. Yes, the lady in the back row. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Helena Humphrey, Deutsche Welle, Berlin. Is growth in itself not an outdated concept or measurement when we're seeing the benefits of the last cycle filter through to fewer and fewer people?
Yeah. I think there are two aspects of your question. One aspect is, is GDP the right way to look at welfare? And there I would argue, certainly no, but it's probably better than all the other ways that have been suggested. But it clearly leaves out a lot, and to the extent we can improve our measurement of what the economy produces, both positively and negatively. The economy also produces climate damage, and that is not measured in GDP, although in principle we could do that. So that's sort of one issue. The other issue is GDP is an aggregate. It is the aggregate of what a country produces, but it doesn't measure the distribution of the rewards from producing that. That is something one could do, but it would require a value judgment. You would have to weight the deservingness of the poor versus the rich. And economists have kind of struggled with this for centuries, actually. This is not something that's a new idea. How do you measure overall utility? But it would require a value judgment, and therefore different people would disagree about how to do it. So we think you have to keep GDP as an anchor, and where it doesn't get at all of the social or welfare issues that you want to discuss, then you supplement it with other data. It's probably never going to be possible to produce one single number that somehow summarizes the happiness of the totality of people in the world. But I think GDP is a key concept, and we'll keep looking at it.
Thank you very much. Maybe just take the one last question here, gentlemen in the...
Thank you, Cameron from China. Slight further moderation of China's economic outlook in 2018. We would like to know, will China continue to play a bigger role in terms
Mm-hmm. Well, China has indeed come to play a much bigger role in global governance and coordination. obviously as a member of the G20, it's the IMF's third biggest shareholder. It has now entered the SDR. So, there's no question that China is a major player. As I mentioned, Chinese growth, just quantitatively, is incredibly important to world growth. So it's going to be important for China to play its role in supporting the multilateral system. Judging from President Xi's comments here in Davos last year, it's very, very eager to do that. That will require, I think, further steps from China to also open its own economy to imports and work on a range of issues. Everyone is going to have to contribute to make the multilateral system work better, and China's role is critical.
Thank you very much, Maury. You'll have a chance to hear more from Maury over the next day or so here in Davos, and of course, Madame Lagarde. I just want to thank him, thank Gian-Maria, Madame Lagarde, and thanks to all of you for coming along today. We'll see you in the course of the next few days.
Hey, Frank. Yeah, I did mention it in the yeah.
Hello.
It is not. Yeah.
I was dealing, well, I can tell you a bit about the general forecast.
Longer term,
The way in which
we actually
Catalonia issue affects the forecast
The
is
best answer.
fundamentally when you have more uncertainty, especially in Catalonia, you may get